Hey, are you wondering what it takes to rank in Google, specifically right now in real time? Well, this series is all about what it takes to rank in Google this week. You get fully updated content about on page SEO optimization techniques and what we see here at SERPWoo through our billions of data points, millions of URLs, and thousands of SEO ranking factors of what we notice about what it takes to rank in SEO for this week. Hi, and thanks for joining me on this edition of the podcast. I'm your host, Jason Brown, the co founder of SERPWoo and inventor of SERP tracking. And this week, we're looking at June 15th and what it takes to rank in Google for this week specifically as we come off a Google core algorithm update. So let me jump into it and show you what I've got. So, what you should be seeing here is our volatility tool in SERPWoo. And we're specifically looking at what happened yesterday. So June 15th, this is when this data was collected. We're filming June 16th. And if we go back and look at the core update that was right here, May 26th, where our volatility was almost 20%. Now, anything over 15, we really start paying attention to here at SERPWoo. That lets us know that something is possibly abnormal. When it really gets to 16, 17, 18, we really start looking at this fluctuation. So once May 26th hit, we see that we get a lot less volatility. There are days that spikes up to 17, like June 1st. We get days like June 5th, days like June 7th. So, I mean, there's a lot of volatility after this rollout, during the rollout even. And then June 15th, we hit 17 again. So, there's definitely days where, some of these changes are slow or they're not impacting a lot of sites. But once this rollout hit, it has definitely been volatile as either websites shift in rankings, either because Google is trying to roll back some of this stuff. Maybe they're making continued changes, but there's definitely a lot of fluctuations. If you had asked me on June 14th, I would have said that we were possibly out of this update now. Things have settled in because, as you see, the volatility did kind of slowly roll down until we got to the 13th. It was right at 15. And then it kind of slightly went up, which is kind of normal, from day to day, those small little increases and decreases. I would have told you on the 14th, hey, it looks like we're out of the woods. But the 15th happened. We hit 17. Now, I collected the data on the 15th. And so some of what I'm getting ready to show you is a reflection of that. But it's just for one day out of the week. So it maybe is not statistically relevant. And then today, actually, the day of filming, we're getting up to 16. Now, we are not done with the day and collecting all of our data, so that's not really statistically relevant there for today. But it does look like, we definitely had some upheaval yesterday. So let's go ahead and jump into the factors. And I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff as far as on-page SEO factors. So sorry to disappoint a lot of you all, but I did add a little change to this report that you'll want to look at. So we're still seeing keywords in H2. Every week, that has been one of the most important factors. And for those of you just joining, just watching, you're new to this, I'm reporting on the top 20. Now we look at billions of data points, millions of URLs, thousands of SEO factors, and this report is a reflection of the top 20. And the way that we get that is we're basically looking at least 100 URLs per keyword. We have millions of keywords that we monitor. We're looking at 100 URLs per keyword. So we've got hundreds of millions of URLs that we're looking at. And then for each one of those URLs, we're breaking down that page and breaking out thousands of SEO elements, things that maybe can be identified as possible ranking factors. And then what we do is we analyze, that top 100, and we look at which ranking, which would be the top 10, and do a correlation of which one of these factors in the top 10 are really contributing to ranking. What does the top 10 have potentially that the top 11 through 100 do not have or low in? And we use a Spearman's ranking correlation coefficient for that. So if you want to look that up, you definitely can. It's easy to find on Wikipedia. But the top 20 that we're finding, definitely H2, that's been there every week. Keywords and sentences has been there for a long time. Keywords and titles, the size of your page, or potentially the body tag size or word count, that's kind of all mixed into page size here. I'll get to images here in a second. Keywords in meta description, keywords in H1, keywords in H3. We've seen that for at least the past 3 or 4 weeks. So that is nothing new. Do they show up every single week in the top 20? No. That's why I keep a record of this Excel sheet. But what I did see pop in that was pretty new, again, this has been on a week prior, so it's not like a new factor, but it's new for this week. Images in the images with alt text. So basically, you have an image, it's got alt text, you're throwing that keyword into the alt text. Maybe the image is named that, within the name of the image also. But basically, images with alt text are taking a higher priority, breaking into the top 20, whereas prior they didn't. Now, that does not mean other SEO factors are not important. That's not what this means. That doesn't mean that images with alt text was not important last week. It just didn't break the top 20. Maybe it was 23rd. Maybe it was 32nd. It's still important out of thousands of SEO factors. It just didn't break the top 20. And we do have something a little new. I decided to list maybe what is I see bouncing around, because not only do I see the top 20 bounce around from time to time, I see a lot of bouncing around from 21 to 30. And I thought it was interesting to kind of look at, hey, what bounced around a lot? Because even though we have a lot of the same this week compared to prior weeks, again, that's, these factors and most of these factors have been the same for the past 3 or 4 weeks. I did see some bouncing around after the 20th factor. So again, from 21 to 30. Now, what I found most interesting that bounced around the most was outbound links and extra words in the title. Now, I talked about extra words in the title back on our June 1st video. Now, these extra words, you start thinking about review sites, you start thinking about sites that's got the year in the title, you start thinking about websites that's got best, or it's a comparison, or the top rated, words like that. Those are the words that I'm seeing come in a lot more since this update. I have seen a lot more YouTube videos. A lot of YouTube videos do comparisons and reviews. That might be part of it. But I'm seeing a lot of websites that, maybe got hit because of low quality content. That low quality, either manually written or it's AI. I do see a lot of that happening as well. I do see people talking about that as well. So we are seeing that at SERPWoo, along with more YouTube videos ranking. So I did definitely want to point out, I'm seeing once you get past the top 20 and you start looking at 21 through 30, I'm seeing a lot more what looks like importance in outbound links and the extra words in the title, which again, I talked about back on June 1st. So before I give you any more information, if you've enjoyed the content in this video, please give us a like, please subscribe, please comment if you got any questions, and also watch another video. We've got a whole series that is building links. So while this series is a lot more about on-page SEO factors, we do have a whole series about building backlinks. We do have a shorts series that we're starting out that are quick sub 60-second tips that you can check out as well. But please, if you like the content, you want to help support us, you found anything useful, please hit the like button, please comment, or please subscribe. And I just want to give out another shout out to the haters before we sign off. Yes, I noticed that you came back and did the 2 down votes, thumbs down, again, just like you always have. So thanks for being subscribed, though. That's the only way that I know that you're seeing these haters who subscribe to us and letting Serpwoo and me live rent-free within your head. So I'll catch you on the next video, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks. Goodbye.